Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, I will go over how to model the window frames for this kind of window setup, or how I do it anyway. I had a request to show how I did this, and so here we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on screencast keys so that you can see the keys that I'm pressing. We're going to click Alt, and we're going to click that edge right there. That's going to highlight all of the inside edges. We're going to hit Shift D to duplicate that. We'll scale it down just a tad just so we can see where it's at. And we'll press P to break it out by selection. We're going to press 3 to go into orthographic view. And let's see if we can grab that. We can. Okay. Now we want this to sit inside the wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to press Z and then 4 to enter wireframe. And we're going to select each one of these edges and we're just going to pull it up and over. So it's kind of like that. Now we want to go over to the right and go to modifiers, and we want to generate a solidify. And we want to see which way it's okay. So we just want to pull it in. So it's about like that. I think that looks fine. We can hit Z again and hit 6 or click on solid to see where we are at. Yeah, I think that's okay. And so what we'll do now is we'll just kind of pull it out. And we want to give it a little bit of thickness going back. So we want to decide how far out do we want this window frame to come. I think that's probably fine. And so we will press the slash key and focus just on that. And we'll go to 3 face select. And we'll select, oh, did we not go into face select? We are in face select. What we have to do first is apply the solidify modifier so that we can actually select those faces. Now we should be able to just hit Alt and select all of those faces. And we'll just pull them back. All right. Now we notice that this bottom edge is kind of sitting a little bit too low. So let's hit Z, go back into wireframe, hit 3 for orthographic, hit 2 just to go into edge select, and just pull it up till it's about right there. And we can adjust these ones as well if we need to. All right, so we have this line, this loop cut coming down the center. Now that is where we want this edge to meet. And so we'll go back into object mode, we'll select that, go back into wireframe. We're going to select just this outer edge right here. We're going to make sure we have snap to edge on, and we're going to pull it over and press Control and snap it. And then for the rest of these, we're just going to eyeball it, you know, maybe pull it up, just eyeball it, make sure it's even on both sides. Doesn't need to be perfect for this demonstration purposes. Yeah, I think that is probably fine. Maybe move this one out just a little bit more. And then we'll hit Z and go back into solid. Yeah, that's fine. Now we want to create the inner rim where the actual window is going to sit. So we're going to press 3 to go back into face select, and we're going to hit this little corner right here, and that'll allow us to select the entire inner face. Shift D to duplicate it, scale it in. But you notice how our scaling is kind of messed up? The reason for that is because we don't have our origin set properly. So let's go ahead and right click, set origin, origin to geometry. And then we're going to want to do Shift S, cursor to selected. And then so now, let's make sure we didn't create an extra copy. Now we can go Shift D to duplicate and then scale it in, but we don't want to scale it on the Z. We only want to scale it on the X and Y, so we'll go Shift Z. Actually, let's back up. We only want to scale it on the X. So let's only scale it on the X. So scale X. Oh, let's back up a little bit. Shift D, scale X. There we go. I fumbled that a little bit, but that is okay. Now we can add thickness a couple ways. I'm just going to do another solidify modifier. So generate, solidify, and we'll just bring this down till we got the whole thing. And the reason that happened is because when we duplicated that, we didn't break it out. So Shift D, S, X, bring it down, E to break it out by selection. And see, now we have that broken out. So now we should be able to just select that. And I think we actually have an extra one in here. Okay, no we do not. Alright, so now let's try to solidify again. And we'll just bring it back till we have the sort of thickness that we want, which I think that's probably fine. We'll apply that, and then I actually want to scale this a little bit more on the X till it's about like that. Alright, we'll select that. Now we want to add the groove that the actual pane of glass is going to sit in. So we'll do the same thing. We're just going to select that. We're going to Shift D to duplicate, SX to... Actually, no, let's back up. There's an easier way to do this. We're just going to hit I. We're just going to inset it. Just like that. I got ahead of myself a little bit. And then we're going to hit ES. Inset it just a tad. And so now we have where the window's going to actually sit. Alright. Now that we have all that done, we can go through and we can start beveling things. So I'm going to select 2 for edge select and select all of these edges. Shift Alt and click all of these. And then Control B to bevel. We'll do 3. And then we want to do Shift Alt and click on the outside edges. If this is going to be a double-sided window where you see the other side, you do the other side as well. And we'll just do 3. Shade smooth. Now you see we got this right here. Let's try and fix that. Let's Shift Alt and click both of these. Right click and go to Mark Sharp. And that cleans that right up. And we'll have to do it on the other side as well. Mark Sharp. Alright, that doesn't look bad. Now let's go to this. Let's do the same thing. Shift Alt and click this corner. Go around, click all the corners. Shift Alt and click. Shift Alt and click. Control B, and we will bevel it with 3 just a little bit. And then we can press period to kind of reset our view, because sometimes it gets all funky and it slows down and stuff. Alright, we're not going to do the inner ones actually. Let's just do the... Actually, no, yeah, let's do the inner ones. Why not? That's not a huge deal. You can kind of get a good view on that. Control B to bevel. And we'll just do 2. And we'll just do a slight bevel on that. Shade smooth. Notice we still got the same little issues, so we'll go up here. We'll click that. And we'll Shift Alt and click that. And we'll go Mark Sharp. Same thing for the other side. Mark Sharp. And that'll clear that up. Now to clean up the inside, what we can do is on the inside little edge right here, we can go Control R, and we can add an edge loop in there and just sort of tighten that up a little bit. And then we can do the outside of here. Shift Alt and click. And we could mark that sharp too if we see that we're having some shading issues. It doesn't look like we're having any, so we'll probably just leave that. So we can mark sharp, or we could even just come in with another edge loop and just sort of push it out, just to kind of define it a little bit more. Oops. Just like that. And I think that looks okay. No, we're upside down now. So let's go ahead and fix being upside down. Oh, we got an issue here. It's not going to be an issue for modeling the window frame, so I'm just going to leave it like that. We'll just pretend it doesn't exist. All right, so we have our frame all in. What we can do now is make sure everything's applied. If all your modifiers aren't applied when you join them, you're going to have a bad time. We have our 3D cursor to there, so let's Shift A and bring in a plane. And we want to rotate this on the Y, so RY 90. We'll scale it down till it's about like that. We'll enter edit mode, and we'll just drag these sides over. And we want to add a little bit of thickness to this, so we'll just go ahead and do another solidify. But we want just a tiny, tiny bit. Just a wee bit. So we'll go maybe 0.02. Now let's go 0.015. And that'll be fine, as long as it's just not poking out. We'll go ahead and apply that. And we have a window, so let's go ahead and join the glass to the rest of the frame. And we will duplicate that and move it over. What happened there? Oh, looks like I only duplicated the... Alright, what's going on? Shift D to duplicate and move it on the X. Oh, that's why. I want to move it on the Y. And what we can do is we can go like this, and we can snip it perfectly to that edge. And there we go. We have our window. And what you could also do is you can go down to materials, and you can assign materials. So, you know, you have to, let's say this is wood. You know, we could join these together, create a new material, call this, it looks like Blender's trying to catch up on me. And give it a second. And there we go. We can go like this, and we can call this wood. And then we can add another material, we can call it metal. And then another material, and we can call it glass. And then we can go into edit mode, and then Control L, and that'll select just the wood portions, and we can assign it to wood. So we would assign it, and then if we hit select, it's not going to work because we haven't assigned the other ones. So let's go ahead and assign the other materials. Click that, Control L, click this, Control L, assign to metal, and then for the glass, we can select the glass pieces and assign it to glass. And now we have all of our pieces assigned to their corresponding material. So that was just a quick tutorial on how I made these windows for the hospital build. They're pretty simple. You can go in after you do this and you can add extra things if you wanted to. You could, this little edge right here, you can, you know, make it a cross, you know, make it a split window. I mean, whatever you want to do. I will make future videos going into more in-depth detail on more, you know, intricate windows. But I had a request for this particular window that I had previously done in a time lapse, and so I figured I'd go ahead and show you how I did that. All right, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.